It's 6:14 a.m. Your hand finds the mug before your eyes finish opening. You haven't tasted anything yet, but something inside you has already started to change. You stand there in the half-dark, listening to the kettle. Your shoulders drop a little, your breathing slows, you feel, almost, like yourself again. And the strange part is, no caffeine has entered your bloodstream, not one molecule. Yet the relief is already happening. That reflex is older than your grandparents, older than your country, older than the word coffee itself. Roughly 600 years of human behavior compressed into the moment your fingers close around a warm cup. So why does a drink that barely existed 1,000 years ago feel like something your body has always known? Let's rewind further than you think. Because the story you've heard, the one about the Ethiopian goat herder named Kaldi, who noticed his animals dancing after eating a red berry, is almost certainly folklore. It appears in writing only centuries after coffee was already being cultivated, brewed, and traded. No witness, no date, no verifiable herder, just a story humans told themselves because we prefer inventions to have a face. The truth is stranger. Coffee wasn't discovered in a moment. It was discovered in pieces, by people whose names no one wrote down. Picture the Ethiopian highlands, cool mist, glossy dark leaves. On a single branch, green fruit and yellow fruit and red fruit hang together. A hand reaches up, not a herder's, just a hand, and turns one of the red cherries between two fingers. Inside that fruit is a thin layer of sweet pulp, and inside the pulp, two hard pale seeds that resist the teeth. Nothing about them smells like coffee. Nothing about them looks useful. If you were hungry, you'd eat the pulp and spit the seeds into the dirt. And for a long, long time, that's probably exactly what humans did. Think about what it took to notice otherwise. A person eats the fruit. Hours later, they feel unusually awake. But they've also been walking. They've also been talking. They've also been hungry, then full. How do you know it was the fruit? How does anyone know? You'd have to try it again, and again, on different days, in different moods. And you'd have to remember, and you'd have to convince someone else to try it too, so you could compare. This is the first thing the goat story hides from you. Discovery isn't a flash of insight. It's a slow, cautious argument between generations. Anthropologists studying the sand of the Kalahari found something that reframes this beautifully. Their arrow poisons, some of the most sophisticated plant chemistry in the ancient world, aren't the work of one clever ancestor. The knowledge is distributed. One person knows the beetle, another knows the season, another knows the exact ratio. Take any single person away, and the technology collapses. Coffee was almost certainly discovered the same way, not by a genius, by a network. And here's the part that surprised me when I first sat with it. The bean you know, that dark, aromatic, roasted thing, did not exist yet, not for the first humans who noticed the plant. What they had was a seed, raw, vegetal, nearly odorless. If you handed a modern coffee drinker one of those pale green seeds and asked them to identify it, they wouldn't. They couldn't. The smell we call coffee is not a smell the plant makes. It's a smell fire makes, out of the plant. Which means somewhere between that forest and your kitchen, someone had to heat the seed. We don't know who, we don't know when, we know it happened because we're here, drinking the result. But the first person to press a raw coffee seed against a hot stone, and then, crucially, do it again on purpose, left no name behind. Your body still carries what they started. Somewhere in the 15th century, on the terraced hillsides of Yemen, coffee finally becomes visible in the historical record. Not as a fruit, not as a curiosity, as a drink, and not a breakfast drink, a night drink. Sufi communities, mystics who gathered for long hours of devotion after dark, began preparing a dark, bitter liquid from roasted ground seeds and hot water. They passed the cup between them, they drank it in circles, and they stayed awake, together, when their bodies wanted to sleep. Read that again. Coffee's first well-documented purpose wasn't productivity, it wasn't pleasure, it was shared wakefulness. Imagine the room, low light, the smell of smoke in the fabric, a grinding stone turning in slow rhythm, voices repeating prayers in the dark. One person's head begins to drop, the cup reaches them, they lift it, they sip, and within the hour, they can stay present with the group. That is the invention, not the plant, not the roast, the moment a tired body could be persuaded to keep participating. Because here's what caffeine actually does, and it's more interesting than the marketing version. It doesn't give you energy. It cannot give you energy. It contains almost no calories. Your muscles get nothing from it. What caffeine does is block a molecule called adenosine from reaching its receptors in your brain. Adenosine is the signal your neurons send when they're tired. Caffeine sits in the receptor's chair, so the signal can't sit down. The tiredness is still there. Your brain just can't hear it as loudly. You are not drinking fuel, you are drinking a mute button. And this is where the story starts to feel personal, because the ability to mute your own exhaustion is not a neutral gift. It's a bargain. Every hour you borrow from sleep still belongs to your body. Sleep does things caffeine cannot do. It clears cellular waste from your brain. It consolidates memory. It rebuilds tissue. Caffeine buys you performance now at the cost of restoration later. And the strange part, the part that took me the longest to accept, is that a person can feel fully alert while still carrying serious biological debt. The eyes stay open. The muscles keep counting. The Hadza of Tanzania don't drink coffee. They never needed to. Researchers watching their camp at night found something extraordinary. The community rarely had every person asleep at the same time. Different people, different sleep rhythms, natural chronotypes overlapping. There was almost always someone awake, alert, listening. They didn't manufacture wakefulness with chemistry. They distributed it socially across bodies. We used to do that too. Somewhere along the way, we stopped. And coffee is where we stopped. By the 16th century, coffee had spilled out of Sufi lodges and into public houses. Coffee houses, first in Mecca, then Cairo, then Istanbul, then across the Islamic world and into Europe. These weren't cafes, they were institutions. People came to argue, to read, to make deals, to hear news, to write poetry. Governments tried to ban them, repeatedly, because a room full of awake people talking freely is a genuinely dangerous thing. Coffee didn't just wake individuals up, it woke conversations up, it woke cities up. And somewhere in that expansion, the drink slipped a boundary it never got back. In the Sufi circle, coffee had a shape, a time, a place, a group. It began, it ended. Someone prepared it for you, and in accepting the cup, you accepted a relationship. Now look at your cup this morning. Do you know who grew the beans? Who picked them? Who sorted them? Who dried them? Who roasted them? You don't. You don't need to. The knowledge has been folded so deeply into machines and supply chains that a single button gives you the outcome of 500 years of anonymous labor. That's a miracle. It's also a kind of forgetting. And somewhere inside you, this is still running. When you say, "Don't talk to me before I've had my coffee," you're doing something ancient. You're marking a threshold. You're saying, "I'm not ready to be my public self yet. Give me the ritual first." The Sufis would have understood you perfectly. But here's the twist the algorithm doesn't want you to think about. The cup got faster. Your day did not get gentler. We kept the stimulation and removed the pause. The takeaway lid closed over the aroma. The shared vessel became a solitary paper cup. The circle of tired faces became one commuter, drinking while walking, already late. Coffee once created time for people. Now it often helps people survive a lack of time. You feel this. You felt it this week. The cup you drank without tasting, the refill you barely remember pouring. The strange guilt when you sit down with coffee and do nothing but drink it. That guilt is new. The Sufis didn't have it. The coffee house arguers didn't have it. Somewhere between them and you, the drink stopped being an event and became infrastructure. And your brain has learned. Oh, has it learned? The grinder starts, and your shoulders drop before caffeine touches your blood. The smell reaches you, and something inside says, the day has officially begun. Studies of expectation have shown that people given decaf they believe is caffeinated will report feeling more alert. The cup, in some sense, works before it works. Your nervous system has memorized the entire sequence. Alarm, kitchen, grind, steam, mug, sip, and it plays the whole song the moment you hit the first note, which means the craving you feel in the morning may not be for caffeine at all. It may be for the ritual that promises you a version of yourself is coming, the competent one, the kind one, the one who can face what today is asking. You are not drinking energy, you are drinking permission. Permission to begin, permission to pause. Permission to sit across from someone difficult and call it a coffee. Permission to keep going when your body is quietly voting to stop. And this is the deepest thing coffee ever taught us, the thing no herder and no goat could have shown anyone. Humans discovered that fatigue could be negotiated, not defeated, not deleted, negotiated. The line between when your body says stop and when your culture says continue became, for the first time, movable. That single shift, the idea that tiredness could be persuaded to wait, reshaped devotion, then trade, then work, then the entire structure of what a human day is allowed to demand. Every morning, without knowing it, you repeat that bargain. You hold in your hand a plant that a nameless person once turned between their fingers in a misty forest, a seed that another nameless person first pushed toward a fire, a drink that tired mystics passed between each other in the dark to stay present with their god, a ritual that thousands of anonymous hands refined, generation by generation, until it fit into the 90 seconds between your alarm and your front door. Tomorrow morning, before the first sip, notice what arrives first. The smell, the warmth, the relief, the identity clicking into place. Ask yourself, quietly, what you're really asking the cup to help you become. Not because the answer will change what you do, but because for 1 second you'll see it, the invisible chain of hands beneath your hand, the 600 years of tired people who wanted, exactly as you want, one more alert hour when that hour mattered. You've been carrying this longer than you realize.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to BackTimes, hit the bell icon, and share this video with someone who loves history.